Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Lincoln penny coins that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of one of America's most iconic coins, the Lincoln 1-cent coin from the year 1966. You've probably seen thousands of pennies in your life, but what if I told you that one of them, just one, could be worth a small fortune? You heard that right. This isn't just another coin sitting at the bottom of your pocket or piggy bank. The 1966 Lincoln penny hides secrets that could turn ordinary collectors into lucky finders of a true numismatic treasure. And now, let's set the scene. The year is 1966. America is in the middle of major cultural and political change. The Vietnam War is raging, the civil rights movement is reshaping society, and the space race is pushing the boundaries of human ambition. While most people were focused on world events, the U.S. Mint was busy striking millions of Lincoln cents, but among those millions, a few extraordinary specimens slipped through the cracks. The 1966 Lincoln penny might not look special at first glance. Like other coins of its era, it features the familiar image of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that has remained largely unchanged since it debuted in 1909. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, framed by the words United States of America and 1 cent. But what separates the rare 1966 penny from the ordinary ones is a combination of unusual minting details, exceptional condition, and sometimes, even mysterious mint errors. You see, during the mid-1960s, the U.S. Mint temporarily stopped putting mint marks on coins due to a nationwide coin shortage. This means that 1966 pennies, whether they were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, all look the same on the surface. That decision has added a layer of mystery to these coins, making it even harder to distinguish the ordinary from the extraordinary. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some of the rarest 1966 Lincoln pennies have been discovered with extraordinary qualities, flawless condition, mirror-like proof-like surfaces, or rare doubling errors that make the lettering and images appear slightly doubled. Others have been struck on the wrong planchets, foreign metal blanks meant for other coins, or show dramatic off-center strikes that instantly turn a common penny into a collector's dream. What makes these rare examples so valuable isn't just the error or the minting quirk, it's the combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. When a coin ticks all three boxes, its value can soar into unbelievable territory. Now imagine finding one of these coins in uncirculated or mint-state condition, completely untouched by time, shining like the day it was minted almost 60 years ago. Even better, picture uncovering a coin with a verified mint error, like a doubled die obverse or one struck on a silver planchet instead of copper. These are the kinds of rare finds that drive collectors wild and send auction prices into the stratosphere, and yes, they've sold at legitimate auctions, with expert grading, for life-changing sums. So, if you're holding onto an old 1966 penny, especially one that looks unusual or is in flawless condition, it might be time to take a second look and a closer inspection under a magnifying glass. Now for the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much could a rare 1966 Lincoln penny be worth today? If you're lucky enough to possess one of these ultra-rare examples, especially one in pristine mint state condition with a unique error or strike, its value could reach an astonishing $80,000 to $115,000. That's right. A coin worth just 1 cent when it was made could now be valued at more than some people's annual salary. It's the kind of discovery that makes collectors' hearts race and reminds us all that hidden treasures might be closer than we think. So next time you sort through your spare change, take a moment to really look at those pennies. You might just find a small copper coin with a giant story and an even bigger price tag. If you enjoyed this video and want to discover more hidden coin treasures, rare mint errors, and unbelievable auction prices, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what we have coming up next. Top 2, we're talking about the 1967 Lincoln 1-cent coin. A classic piece of American currency that could turn out to be far more than just a relic from the past. Let's take a moment to rewind the clock. The year is 1967. The United States is deep in the era of change. Rock and roll, civil rights marches, and the race to the moon are dominating headlines. It was a time of bold ideas and big moves. But while all that was going on, at the U.S. Mint, millions of Lincoln cents were being struck, most destined to jingle in pockets, by bubblegum, or vanish into couch cushions. But among the flood of copper coins minted that year, a few rare and mysterious specimens slipped into circulation. And those are the ones collectors are dreaming about today. At first glance, the 1967 Lincoln penny doesn't scream rare. It has the same familiar design you've seen for decades. On the front, we have the timeless image of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that's graced the penny since 1909. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, crisp and iconic, with the bold 1-cent message underneath. But the beauty of coins like the 1967 penny isn't just in how they look, it's in the hidden details, the errors, the anomalies, and the condition. Because it's those things that can transform a regular coin into a treasure worth thousands. Here's something not everyone knows: in the mid-1960s, the US Mint was under pressure. There was a nationwide coin shortage, so to increase production and speed things up, mint marks were removed temporarily, meaning in 1967, no Lincoln penny has a mint mark. That fact alone already sets this coin apart from others, but what really excites collectors are the rare error coins and pristine mint state examples that somehow survived. We're talking about coins that were accidentally struck on the wrong metal planchet, like dimes, foreign coins, or even leftover silver blanks. Others might have doubling errors, where the letters or Lincoln's profile appear duplicated, giving the coin a strange, almost ghostly effect. And then there are off-center strikes, die clashes, or pieces with extremely sharp, proof-like detail even though they were never meant to be proofs. Imagine holding one of these coins in your hand, one that slipped through the system with an imperfection that made it into something extraordinary. Some were never meant to enter circulation at all. A coin with a crisp, uncirculated shine, zero wear, and a certified error is like finding a 4-leaf clover made of copper. And now let's talk condition, because that's another major factor. A coin from 1967 that's been handled, dropped, and rubbed smooth over the years might only be worth face value. But a coin that was stashed away in a collection, protected from air, dirt, and oils, now that's where things get interesting. Especially when it's verified by a professional grading service as being in mint state or better. Collectors will pay a premium for coins in near-perfect condition, and when you combine rarity with an error and high-grade preservation, the sky's the limit. Some of these rare 1967 pennies have sold at auctions for jaw-dropping amounts, far beyond what most people would ever expect. But these aren't just tall tales. These are real, verified coins sold to serious collectors who understand how special they are. And now, for the part you've been waiting for. If you're lucky enough to own a 1967 Lincoln penny in exceptional condition, especially one with a rare error or a unique strike, you could be holding on to something worth between $76,000 and $110,000. That's right. 1 cent that could be worth over 6 figures, just because of how it was made and how well it's been preserved. It's the kind of discovery that can change your life and ignite a lifelong passion for coin collecting. So before you toss your next penny in a tip jar or let it gather dust in a drawer, take a closer look. That ordinary-looking coin might be something truly extraordinary. Top 3. We're diving deep into one of the most mysterious and valuable coins ever to be minted in the United States, the rare 1970 Lincoln penny. This tiny copper coin, usually dismissed as just a cent, could actually be worth a staggering amount of money. So stay with us, because by the end of this video, you'll discover just how much your old penny might actually be worth, and trust me, it's a number that could change your life. Let's rewind the clock to 1970. The world was a very different place. The Beatles had just broken up, the Vietnam War was still raging, and in the US, coins were being minted in huge numbers to support the ever-growing economy. Among them was the humble 1-cent piece, the Lincoln penny. At first glance, the 1970 penny looks like any other, featuring the familiar profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. But not all 1970 pennies were created equal. Some of them hold secrets, tiny, nearly invisible flaws and quirks that make them incredibly rare and valuable. The 1970 Lincoln penny was minted in several locations, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. It's the San Francisco Mint that holds the key to our story. That's where the special, elusive version of the 1970 penny was born, specifically, the one bearing a tiny S beneath the date on the front of the coin. But wait, it gets even more interesting. The treasure we're talking about isn't just any 1970s penny. It's a special kind known as the 1970s small date Lincoln penny, doubled die obverse. That's a mouthful, right? But don't worry, I'll break it down first. The small date refers to a subtle variation in the size and placement of the numbers in the date. In 1970, the San Francisco Mint accidentally produced 2 different styles of date, a large date and a small date. The differences are incredibly minor, so minor, in fact, that most people never notice. But collectors? They definitely notice. And when it comes to value, the small date version is already more desirable, and now here's where things get truly exciting: the double die obverse. That term means there was a mistake during the minting process that caused the design on the front of the coin to be stamped twice, but just slightly offset. This creates a doubling effect that can be seen in the lettering, especially in the words Liberty and In God We Trust, as well as in the date itself. This error makes the coin unique, and uniqueness is the holy grail for coin collectors. If you're lucky enough to have a 1970s penny with both of these features, a small date and a double die obverse, then you might be holding on to one of the rarest and most valuable pennies in US history. So how can you tell if you have one? Look closely at the date. The 7 in 1970 should appear level with the 0, not higher. That's one way to spot the small date version. Then, examine the letters on the front under magnification. If you notice any doubling, especially in the word Liberty or in the motto, then you could have a double die. Now, these rare coins are not just historical oddities. They are true collector's items. Because of their extreme rarity and demand, they have been auctioned off for jaw-dropping amounts. Imagine discovering one of these rare coins in an old coin jar or passed down from a grandparent. You'd be shocked to know what it could be worth today, and here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. A genuine, verified 1970s small date Lincoln penny with the double die error has been sold at auctions for between $70,000 and $100,000, depending on its condition and certification. Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent could be worth up to $100,000. So don't ignore those old pennies lying around your house. Check the date. Check for the S mint mark. Use a magnifying glass and take a close look at the lettering. You never know, you might be holding onto a piece of American history that's also a financial goldmine. Top 4 We're unlocking the secrets of a coin that almost everyone has seen, but very few truly understand: the 1971 Lincoln penny. At first glance, it might just look like another old cent, easy to overlook and often tossed into jars, forgotten drawers, or passed over at flea markets. But hidden among the countless millions of these copper coins is a version so rare, so unique, it could transform an everyday find into a massive payday. Let's set the stage for this coin's origin. It's 1971. The Vietnam War is still ongoing, disco is taking over the dance floors, and Richard Nixon is in the White House. In the heart of the United States Mint in Denver, millions upon millions of pennies are being struck with the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. These coins are meant to be used and spent without a second thought. But as is often the case with mass production, not every coin comes out exactly the same. Among the ocean of 1971 pennies, there are a few that were struck differently. These are not your average 1-cent pieces. These special versions, known to a select group of collectors, were produced with minting errors so rare, they become legendary in the world of numismatics. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, and high-grade uncirculated examples that survived decades without ever being touched by human hands. Now, what's so special about the 1971 Lincoln penny? First off, the D beneath the date tells you this penny was minted in Denver, one of the most productive U.S. mints in the country. While the Denver Mint usually gets things right, every now and then, an error coin slips through, and that's when things get interesting. In rare cases, the die used to stamp the coin may have shifted ever so slightly between strikes. When this happens, a phenomenon called doubling can occur, and that's where the magic lies. A true double die error isn't something you'll spot instantly unless you're looking closely. You need to examine the details, the letters in Liberty, the phrase "In God We Trust," or even the numbers in the date. Look for slight shadows, overlapping edges, or doubled lines. These signs are subtle but unmistakable to the trained eye, and they're exactly what collectors are searching for. But it's not just about doubling. Condition plays a huge role too. A 1971 penny that's been passed around from pocket to pocket, scratched up and worn down, probably won't bring much attention. But a 1971 penny that was never circulated, one that looks as fresh as the day it left the mint, is another story entirely. These coins, graded by professional services and stored in pristine holders, are the crown jewels of a collector's stash. Some of these high-grade examples, when combined with an ultra-rare error, have sent shockwaves through coin auctions and collector forums. In fact, a few lucky individuals have found 1971 pennies with exceptional mint errors or preserved in perfect condition that have skyrocketed in value. And here's where things get truly exciting. You may think a penny is worth just 1 cent, but the right one, the rare one, the nearly flawless or mysteriously flawed 1971 Lincoln penny, can be worth far more. So, if you've got an old coin jar lying around, or if you inherited a collection from a relative, don't ignore those 1971 pennies. Take a close look. Get a magnifying glass. Study the letters, check the date, and don't be afraid to send it in for professional grading. You might be sitting on a tiny copper disc that could change your entire financial picture, and now, the moment you've been waiting for. Just how much could one of these rare 1971 Lincoln pennies actually be worth? Well, depending on the rarity of the error, the quality of the strike, and the coin's overall condition, some verified specimens have fetched between $65,000 and $95,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, potentially worth $95,000. So, what are you waiting for? Dig through your drawers, check those coin jars, and start looking closely. The next big discovery could be sitting right under your nose. Top 5 American History, 1976. It was the nation's bicentennial, a year of fireworks, parades, and patriotic pride. But hidden among all that red, white, and blue was something far less flashy, yet potentially far more valuable. That's right. We're talking about the humble 1976 Lincoln penny. A coin that millions of people held in their hands, spent on candy, tossed into fountains, or stuffed into piggy banks without a second thought. But buried within that mountain of change are a select few pennies that have become legends in the world of coin collecting. And if you're lucky enough to find one, you could be holding onto something worth more than a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. Now, what makes the 1976 Lincoln penny so interesting? At first glance, it doesn't look much different from any other cent from the era. It features the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, facing right with calm authority. Flip it over, and you'll see the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, as was standard for all 1-cent coins from 1959 through 2008. Nothing flashy. Nothing unusual, or so it seems, but here's where it gets exciting. You see, 1976 wasn't just any year, it marked the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. While the U.S. Mint issued special bicentennial designs for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins, the penny remained visually unchanged. However, it was during this high-production, high-pressure year that a handful of rare errors slipped through the cracks, and those mistakes are what turn ordinary copper coins into collector gold. Some of these ultra-rare 1976 Lincoln pennies were struck with noticeable die errors. These include doubled die obverse, where parts of the coin's front design were stamped slightly off alignment, creating a doubling effect. If you look closely at the letters in Liberty or the motto, "In God We Trust," you might see ghost-like doubling, something that only happens due to a mishap in the minting process. And it's not just a fascinating flaw, it's a sign of rarity. Then there are off-center strikes, where the coin isn't perfectly aligned with the die, creating a dramatic crescent of blank space on one side. These kinds of mint errors make the coin stand out instantly and add significant value in the eyes of collectors. Even rarer are transitional errors, coins struck with the wrong metal composition due to leftover planchets from previous years. But even without dramatic errors, a perfectly preserved 1976 Lincoln penny can be a collector's dream. Imagine a coin that has never been touched by human hands, that shows every line of Lincoln's face, every pillar of the memorial, in crisp, untouched detail. These coins, known as uncirculated or mint state, can fetch impressive prices at auction, especially when graded highly by professional coin grading services. So how do you know if your 1976 penny is one of these rare finds? Start by checking the coin's condition. Is it scratched or worn? Or does it shine with that fresh from the mint brilliance? Next, get a magnifying glass and examine the text. Do the letters look doubled? Is the strike off-center? Any of these signs could mean you're holding something special. Finally, if you suspect your penny might be valuable, get it authenticated and graded. A coin grading service can determine its official condition and rarity, which is crucial when it comes to determining its market value. And now, the moment everyone's been waiting for. Just how much could one of these rare 1976 Lincoln pennies be worth? Depending on the type of mint error, the sharpness of the strike, and the overall preservation, a rare specimen of the 1976 Lincoln penny has sold for between $55,000 and $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. A single penny, just 1 cent, could be worth as much as $85,000. So, the next time you reach into your change jar or dig through an old drawer, take a closer look at those pennies. Especially the ones from 1976. Because that plain-looking coin could turn out to be a forgotten treasure waiting to be discovered. If you love this story and want to learn more about valuable coins hiding in everyday places, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss another fascinating find. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep your eyes open, your magnifiers handy, and your curiosity alive. Happy coin hunting!